talking Ball State Cardinals today here on Sharpen the Point. 2024 was an extremely poor season at 2-10, which led to the head coach being fired. Mike Yerimovich takes over from Butler. He's established a winning culture there. He brought his defensive coordinator with him and promoted a co-offensive coordinator, Jared Elliott, to the actual offensive coordinator position. Last season, it was quarterback Caden Samanza trying to just take up the mantle. He played fairly well. He's going to leave somewhat of a hole. And they convinced Kiael Kelly to return from the portal. That's a win, albeit he was an extremely limited pass catcher technically, because he played wide receiver and DB a little bit last year, while being an electric runner. He's an athlete, not a quarterback, but he showed good decision-making in the spring, and they're going to hope that that continues when the bullets start to fly in the fall. And he's going to be backed up by Walter Taylor III. He's going to provide an upside backup option, and he's a great athlete as well. The hope will be that he's a better passer than Kelly. Kelly will be useful when it gets later in the season, specifically during those Maction games during the middle of the week, in the hopes that he just runs all over the place and makes plays. That's kind of his MO. Running back wise, Vaughn Pemberton heads to Boston College. Braden Sloan was the other top two rusher last season. They both leave. I view them as being replaced by a combination. Quay Ashley comes from Kennesaw. He had explosive capability. Really liked him at Kennesaw. He showed a little bit here and there. And also explosive playmaker Elijah Jackson comes from Purdue. Both of them are not prototypical size guys to be able to carry a full workload, but together in a tandem, you could see them split carries and be able to run the football electrically, especially with Kelly's capability to win on the edge as well. Pass catching wise, the loss of Cam Pickett is going to hurt, but more importantly, it's Justin Bowick. He, only 4 games last season for him. He was the second leading receiver. He was an absolute star for this team. Malcolm Gilly is gone. He was more of a depth loss. I love the addition of Eric Weatherly from Bucknell. He had 75 catches, 858 yards, and 8 touchdowns last season. He popped in the spring, showed great chemistry with Kelly specifically, and is a guy that I believe that will be the number one target for this offense, provided that Kelly can hit the broadside of a barn, which he should be able to. Freshman Elijah Durham is one to watch. He put his name on put in the time to learn the system, put his name out there very well during the spring. He built chemistry with the quarterbacks, and he showed well in the spring as well. He has a promising future. He is going to be a guy that is going to be groomed over the long haul to take over this offense and lead it with a Walter Taylor. Tanner Koziel at tight end, he's gone. He was a massive presence in that offense with 124 targets, 94 catches, 840 yards, and 8 touchdowns, something that would lead the MAC typically at tight end, except for Harold Fannin existed. And it looked like Christian Abey would be the guy until he departed for Illinois. And I think Drew Cassins comes from Butler. He looks like the most likely replacement, but he's going to be a massive step down compared to Koziel is in that tight end role. They're going to lean more on the wide receivers specifically. On the offensive line, Taron Tayo, right guard, he left for Cincinnati. They only returned one starter now. That's going to be Chris Hood at right tackle. It's useful to have good tackles. That's the key to the offense. Left tackle is going to be manned by a guy who comes from Butler with his head coach, Adam Dolan. The man is simply a mountain at 6'8" and over 300 pounds. He was a 3-year starter there. They trust him to protect the blind side. I love the tackles. I'm worried about up the middle. But the use of them being able to have the edge protected with those tackle spots is cozy. You get Kiael Kelly and the running backs to the edges, and if you can get them in space, they're going to be able to make plays happen. You can't expect a ton out of a team that had 2 wins a year ago, but explosiveness is a capability for this offense. Defensively, Miles Norwood, he goes to South Carolina. Big loss at corner. They added a former 4-star recruit, Avery Stewart from Kentucky. he's got big upside. I like him. We're going to hope he replaces Norwood. Can he play at that same level? It's possible given the pedigree. Linebacker Joey Stemler, he's going to be the defensive leader now that Keontae Newsome has the second leading tackler with 73, graduated. At DB, Roman Pearson from Bucknell came with Weatherly. He's experienced with 18 starts at corner. He probably gets a starting nod on the outside. Defensive line-wise, you're looking at Nathan Voorhees. He showed his playmaking ability in the spring game, and he's going to be a veteran presence along a young defensive line unit and he'll be looked upon to lead that room and going forward, and likely a lot with this defense itself. The pass defense struggled a year ago. Returns 3 starters. Is that a good or bad thing? Considering how much they struggled, you would hope they have grown. They return a safety. A couple corners come back as well. They added a ton of DBs in the portal. They're going to throw spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks. And also the loss of George Udo at 78 tackles a year ago is going to be an issue. I think they struggle a little bit on defense out the gate, and hope that this unit of transfers gels in time for MAC play. Looking at the schedule and outlook for the season, asking for massive improvement in year one from this Butler staff is going to be a tall task. There's a ton of question marks on defense. The offense will only go as far as the athletic quarterback, Kiael Kelly, can take it. The passing offense is going to take a hit from a weapons standpoint, even though Weatherly looks like a very good target. And they're going to be a little more explosive at running back. You expect the quarterbacks to run a lot in this system and make use of the personnel that they have. Schedule-wise, at Purdue, that's going to be tough. I know Purdue is not a very good team right now, but this is not a team built to take on a Purdue team. At Auburn, you got a paycheck. Congratulations. New Hampshire, it's a winnable game, but that is a quality FCS program. You need to win that game. At UConn, that's a tough matchup, tough game, tough place for them to play specifically. Ohio, extremely tough MAC opener. I don't think you're getting out with that one. At Western Michigan, that's another good MAC team on the road. That's not a coin flip. That's a 70-30 chance of a loss here. Akron, it's a winnable game. That's more of a coin flip being at home. At Northern Illinois, you're just going to get flat out physicaled. They play a better brand of this exact bully ball. Kent State, very winnable game. That it might be one of, if not the worst team in all of FBS. Eastern Michigan, it's possible, but they're extremely well coached, and that's a step up in competition for this coaching staff. It's unlikely, but it is possible you sneak a win there. And you finish out the year with 2 of the top contenders, we'll say, in the MAC. At Toledo, no, sir. There is no way you're winning this game. That is a extremely talented, experienced roster. At Miami of Ohio, they have a quarterback that in Daquan Finn returning from his 1-year hiatus of going to Baylor that will be a better version of Kiael Kelly, one who can throw the football and hit his targets. So, no. So 3 wins is going to be an improvement, and this is actually a very tough MAC schedule. You would hope you would get Bowling Green on it, but you don't. So hope to hit 3 wins and show some improvement and some signs of life from this coaching staff that will eventually lead you to a better record, but it's going to take more than just this one season turnaround.